The next thing. Pray for divine truth. I just want to define pray. I'm not talking about sort of kneeling down, hands up, talking to God. I'm not talking about that. Right? What I'm talking about is having a desire in your heart for God's truth to enter you. As soon as you have a desire, that is a prayer. So right at the moment, if you have a desire to harm somebody, that's a prayer too. It's not going to be answered by God, of course, but it is still a prayer. God still feels you longing for that. So whenever you long for anything, that is a prayer to God. If you long for a friend of yours getting healed in some way, that's a prayer to God. If you have an emotion directed at God, that is automatically a prayer to God. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but what is a prayer that the like chants and prayers? What category or effect do they have in relation to that?
None whatsoever.
So in other words, if you say rosary 350 times, it doesn't matter if it's...
Unless you have an emotion while you're doing it.
Yeah, so it's the emotion, not the...
It's the emotion, it's not the action, it's not the repetition, it's the emotion you feel while you're doing it. That's the prayer.
So is this why when you go to church, even though I'm not religious, or at church, you have a certain feeling?
Yep. Because there are people who are there who are open emotionally to connecting to God, and so that resonates with your openness emotionally to connect with God, so you'll feel that.
So it's actually, you'd actually be feeling a residue or a semblance of divine love in that area. Yeah,
in almost every religious format, whether Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, all religious formats, there are people within those formats that are all connecting to God in a feeling way. And every one of those people are receiving divine love. Right? They just don't know, in many cases, how to replicate that. They don't realise that it's not based on their belief structure that they're feeling divine love. It's actually based on their passion and their desire for God that they're feeling it. And once we understand that, we can replicate that, we can do that and build that desire within ourselves.
And so we don't need words, we don't even really need thoughts per se.
No.
But if they help us, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So use them as tools to connect with the emotion. Let yourself feel the emotion towards God. And it's the emotion that the emotion is transmitted. A lot of people say that things can't travel faster than the speed of light. But your emotion travels instantly across the universe. It's actually your emotion that transcends space and time. Do you understand what I mean by that? I can prove it, because the instant you feel an emotion for God and a longing for God's love, and if it's pure, you will start receiving God's love at that same instant. Now, where is God? He's outside of the universe he created. Right? He's bigger than the universe he created, so he's further away than the furthest star, and yet the instant you feel for God is the instant you get a feeling from God. So that means your emotions are the only thing, this is the soul part of you. The soul part of you can transcend time and space. And it's happening all the time. We're just not aware of it in many cases. So from a purely physics point of view, it's your emotion is the thing that can change all of these things around you, even time and space. So when you have a longing in your soul to experience God's love will instantly begin flowing to you. If it's a pure desire and you're not resistive, it will instantly start flowing into you. And so therefore, wherever God is, and God can be, like God is bigger than the universe, and the universe is an appendage, I suppose you could say, of God. It's not God itself. God is an entity that created the universe. So therefore God is bigger than the universe, and you could almost say conceptually outside of the universe in a way, but managing the universe through all of his energies or all of her energies, and yet you can communicate with that personal being just by having a longing, just by that longing.